Today, we are going to explain how iPhone 6 rear camera works. Functions of main components. Let's look at the main components of the rear camera circuit and its function. AP, which can also be called as CPU. It takes the following responsibilities: communicate with the camera module, detect and control it, receive the image data generated by the camera module through the MIPI bus and process, control the voltage outputted by LDO. PMU and LDO are in charge of supplying power to camera module. Strop driver IC provides operating conditions for the flash. J2321 connects the rear camera module with logic board. Next, we need to know how the rear camera module circuit works. To enable the camera, the following factors are acquired: power supply, clock signal, data signal, control signal, enable signal. During booting, the CPU will initialize self-inspection of the rear camera module via I2C bus. PMU supplies 3 sets of power. One set is 1.8 volts autofocus voltage for running the focusing function of rear camera. If this 1.8 volts voltage is abnormal, the camera can still take pictures, but it is unable to focus, so the picture will be blurry. The other two voltages are 1.8 volts and 1.2 volts RCAM power to enable the rear camera module and let the module enter standby mode. After the phone booted, we should be able to measure the following voltages: the two 1.8 volts power voltages, which are ensuring the operation of I2C, and the other voltages supplied by PMU. When the system needs to take picture, the CPU will send a power enable signal to LDO. Then LDO will output a working voltage of 2.85 volts to rear camera module. Please note, this 2.85 volts could be detected only after the rear camera is enabled. CPU will output clock signal to RCAM and control the focusing, videoing, and other functions via I2C data bus. Then CPU will output turn-on, shut-down signal to RCAM. When the camera is turned off, the signal is 0 volt. When the camera is turned on, this signal is 1.8 volts. The rear camera will be operating properly once the above factors are met. During operating, the acquired image data is transmitted to CPU via MIPI bus. The MIPI bus is consisted of 1 set of clock signal and 4 sets of data signals. Please notice that if any set of these signals has problem, the camera function would be failed. If user needs to use the flash, RCAM will send an enable signal to flash mode. The flash module is associated with camera, so the malfunction of flash module will cause camera abnormal. The flash circuit will be detailed in the next course. CPU will process the received data and display the processed image on the screen. When user press camera button, CPU will save the data of currently displayed image on the NAND flash. Photographing process is now completed. Common troubleshooting references. First, replace the rear camera module and check whether the appearance of logic board is abnormal to exclude external causes. Measure the dial value of each pin on J2321. Judge the condition of circuit and relevant components by measuring dial value. Keep measuring step by step on the dubious circuit to locate the malfunction point. When the rear camera is enabled, the follow voltage conditions shall be measured. The output voltage of PMU, automatic focusing voltage, pin 6, pin 8, 1.8 volts. RCAM voltage, pin 18, pin 20, pin 22, 1.2 volts, pin 24, 1.8 volts. Check relevant pin connected with PMU, resolder or replace dubious component. The output voltage of LDO, pin 34, 2.85 volts. Check relevant pin connected with LDO, resolder or replace dubious component. The operating voltage of I2C bus, pin 12, pin 14, 1.8 volts. The voltage of CPU turn on, shut down signal, pin 26, 1.8 volts. Check relevant pin connected with CPU, resolder or replace dubious component. Warn tips: CPU could only be resoldered rather than replaced, and the difficulty of resoldering is high. If the final inspection indicates the CPU is broken, please consider secondly if resolder it. Here we have a chat contains common troubleshooting process for your reference. Common fault point on rear camera module. The abnormal of U1602 strobe driver will cause the disability of flash, camera, etc. The abnormal of U2301 LDO will cause rear camera not to work. And this is our iPhone 6 rear camera working theory course today. Feel free to visit our official website www.rivatechnology.com. See you next course.